Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Get Local podcast. I am your host, Joanne Fowler with Get Local, and we are so excited, as always, to bring you another wonderful hidden gem in the upstate. Today in our studio, which we are at 864 Sound on Sweetbriar Road here in Greenville. Today in the studio, we have Ashley Brickner, and Ashley is with GVL Art Gallery and Shop.
That's right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you.
I'm so honored that you were able to come in and sit with me because I know your schedule is extremely busy this time of year, right?
Yes, it is.
Lots of festivals that you're attending.
Yes.
Well, Ashley, tell us a little bit about who you are and why you got started.
Sure. I'm a local artist. I'm a pencil artist. Have my little book right here, which some people only know me for the book. And I've been drawing since I was a kid, but professionally, I've been doing it for about 17 years. Full time, about 12 or 13 years. I kind of lost count. But yeah. So that's the bottom basic gist of everything, but there's way more.
So tell me, as a pencil artist, what are some things that you draw?
Lots of animals.
Okay.
People that lose their animals especially really want to have that memorabilia. And the cool thing about pencils, I can put them together from separate pictures. I can even incorporate living things with things that have passed away. A lot of house drawings of real estate gifts. That is a huge part of my business. And during COVID, actually, it started booming. So it's become a huge part of what I do. And people is where I started. I actually started with drawing people.
Oh, my goodness. So do you have someone come sit? You know, I'm thinking of in the olden days where the kings and queens, you have someone come in and draw them.
No, the olden days were really hard, I think. I take the easier route. We do it from photographs.
From photographs.
Yes.
So someone takes a picture and they'll send you the photo and then you'll draw that.
Right.
Oh, wonderful.
And I love doing candid shots mostly. I mean, like I suggest to people, don't send me that headshot you got professionally done. I want to see the real smile. I want to see the real lighting.
Oh.
And I draw from there.
So what sizes do you draw?
I have 3 basic sizes, but lately I've been getting some big orders in, which, hey, I'm appreciative. 5x7, 8x10, 11x14 are my 3 basic ones, a lot of 8x10s. And then a mat and frame. It all comes together. And I deliver, I ship, whatever I got to do to get the picture to the person.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I know someone, you mentioned earlier about the house. I knew someone who they had built a house on the lake.
Yeah.
And then when they became older, they had to sell the home. And it was pretty traumatic for them to leave the home, but they need to get closer back to the Greenville area because of some medical reasons as well.
Yes.
And that was a gift that they gave their family. You may have actually been the artist that did that, but they had someone who went out and drew the home for them. And that was the homeowners were so excited to have that because that was so many memories had been created in that home.
I'm one that loves memories of homes, and I've lived in several homes, and yes, so it is a special thing. Definitely.
So someone would just take a picture of the house and then they would send it to you and you would draw that for them.
Yes, and many times it's already on the internet because MLS is everywhere.
Well, that's true. So you said earlier you work with real estate agents. So how did you get started in that? You're just going around and introducing yourself to the different agents that are out there, or just kind of gets passed around that this is what you do?
I've always been in touch with everybody from every walk of life because I was a professional radio ad salesperson, and then I worked in banking for 7 years. So just living or working in the business world, I met lots of people, and anybody's my client, but I had to figure out the niches that really made sense. And so that was a big niche.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So now you said you started drawing when you were younger.
Yes.
When did you decide, okay, this is going to be a business?
Well, when somebody asked me, can I pay you to do it? That's when I decided
goodness.
Can it be a business? Other than that, I would just draw and give it away like all the artists do out there. I'm sure artists listening know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, then you branched into, obviously, now you have a whole shop.
Yes.
And you have artists in there. So when did you take that leap and decide to go from, okay, I'm a pencil artist, to now I want to help other artists?
Well, that's a great question. I get asked that a lot. I started out in art crossing on the river with my sister. We were one of the first 2 artists there together for 4 years. when Phil Hughes built this building and had this extra space that looked over the river, and he goes, I think I could either close it in or I could make it a space and give it to artists at an affordable price. He was brilliant to do that because he started the whole trend down there of walking along the river with art. So I was down there for 4 years, grateful as can be that my sister heard about it, and we went and crazy. Can I tell you a crazy story?
Yes,
All
please
right.
do.
So in order to pick the space we wanted, this is how he did it. He, first of all, emailed back the first 12 artists that replied, and we were one of them. So there were 12 artists there. And he said, okay, everybody meet on this day at the river, and we'll talk about which space you're getting. Well, he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have you run and touch the space that you want whenever I say ready, set, go.
This is a crazy story.
Ready, set, go. We better go. And we're like, we had this one in mind. We're like, I'm getting that one. I got Elizabeth. I said, Elizabeth, I got it. I'm going to get it. And I ran to it and touched it. And we were there for 4 years. And it was a great space because it had good windows and stuff. But isn't that crazy?
That is a crazy story.
So that was my first gallery I had. And I was, in the meantime, being a banker full time. And then while I had the gallery, I had a baby. And so I had to give something up. Won the baby, won the paying job. So I had to give up the gallery because my time was just being pulled in every direction. So when I had my baby, I was still working, still drawing at home and everything, but didn't have like a real place to call my art home. And years later, the last boss that I had at the bank I worked at, who was an advocate for me, his best friend who owned several buildings downtown, who banked with me and I was friends with, and had a building space for sale or for rent. And I went and looked at it, and we worked it out, and I've been there for 6.5 years.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So how did you decide who you're going to bring into the gallery? And how many artists do you actually have in the gallery?
Deciding who to bring in the gallery took me a while. I didn't know what I wanted to do with this space. I had this great space, and I owed money to the landlord as I built it. So he was very flexible with that, which was fantastic for an artist. So at first it was just me, little old me in this space. And I do black and white, which is great, but you do need some color popping too. So I said, I need some color in here. So I first tried out having a clothing artist in there. And she took up a small space. And I realized, I don't know that that's the direction I want to go in. Because at first I said, well, I have space to rent. I knew that. Who do I want to rent the space to? So I tried her, and she was very talented, and I just didn't feel like I could sell her clothes like she wanted or she deserved. I said, okay, I need to go to two-dimensional art. So I contacted Metropolitan Arts Council, put a little call for artists out there, and got a few replies, and the ball just rolled from there. And now more word of mouth and more people dropping in. But a lot of the first artists that I had come in are still there.
Oh my!
Very dedicated to the gallery, and it's a testament to it makes me feel good that I know I'm running the gallery, I think, in the right way. I run it a little differently than some other galleries run.
Well, tell me about that.
Yeah. So I don't take commission. I don't take any of the sales. I just charge a flat fee to be in there. And that's unusual for a lot of places. A lot of places have to do both, charge rent and take commission, or take commission. I wanted to keep it simple, and I wanted to keep it affordable for local artists. And I didn't want to have them tied down for a year because what if they didn't like it? What if I didn't like it? What if they wanted to move, like Carrie? We were talking about another artist earlier, Carrie, who's got other things going on in a different location. You know, I wanted the flexibility for the artists. I wanted the affordability. I wanted to run a place like how I would want to be in a space run.
That's so smart. It really is. Because when you run it the way that you would want to be treated, chances are other people want to be treated that way.
That's right. That's how I was thinking. Do unto others. That little simple thing we learned as a kid.
So how many artists do you have?
I have about 30.
About 30
About
artists.
30 is my mental max.
And what kind of square space do you have?
It's pretty big. It's below ground, but it feels like we're above ground because the ceilings are tall. It's an old historic building. Used to be the Stanley Dry Goods store, back in the 1800s. It's about 2,400 square feet,
That's
something
pretty
like
good
that.
size
And there's a lot of
gallery.
zigging and zagging in there. So it's a really fun space to explore.
Now, I noticed in your company name, it's GVL Art Gallery and Shop.
Yes.
So, do you sell other things, or do you
Yes.
just sell the art gallery, and that's why you put the word shop in there?
I added it in recently.
Okay.
We were Open Art Studios for 6 years. I just changed the name.
Oh,
So GVL Art Gallery and Shop explains that we're local. GVL. Everyone knows Greenville is GVL now.
yes.
We are a gallery showing fine artists, I try to be particular about who I choose. We have fine artists, and we also have some artists that are more like jewelry artists, things like that. But we are a shop, and I didn't want people to feel like they were walking into this scary, can't touch anything, intimidating gallery. I wanted to have the word shop in there to make people feel welcome.
That definitely makes sense. So, of these 30 artists that you have in there, you can walk in and I can see something on the wall and I can say, I want to buy that today.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Or you can fall in love with an artist and say, "Ooh, I want to commission them to do something specifically for me."
Okay.
Most of my artists do commissions.
Most they do. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about the variety of artists that you have in there.
Okay. We have professionally trained classically trained artists to artists that are self-taught, like myself. I'm self-taught. I have acrylic artists, oil painters. I've got jewelry artists. I've got woodworkers and glass workers, stained glass workers, large art, small art, prints. So anything that's attainable by just people walking in the gallery. And recently we had a coffee shop put in our gallery, which I want to tell you about.
Oh, tell me about your coffee shop.
So Flying Fox Coffee is out of Greer, and they, and I do live in Greer, so I knew about them. And I have this space within my space that I had tried to use for several things. Class space. I had people coming in, running it, doing Reiki and massage, all kinds of things. And so over the years, I kind of just felt it out and figured, what is this space good for? It's a really cool space. It kind of looks like a dance space. It had mirrors on the wall and the hardwood floors. It was really a nice space, but it was off to the side. And I felt like I need something in there that's going to be very complimentary to the art and to be intentional, to bring people down the stairs. Because being downstairs can be, I use the word intimidating a lot because art can be intimidating and being downstairs can too. So I was like, you know what? I bet you if we had coffee down here, people would come. And it would smell really good. And we would have people walking in and out and go, wow, I can look at art while I'm here. And that's what we did. It's about two months old now.
That's fantastic. And I actually know the owner of that
Do
coffee
you?
shop. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So good people
Good
combined,
people.
you
They've
know,
done
two good companies.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Not to mention their employees. They're all wonderful who help us check out people in the gallery when we're not there. So it's a combined effort. It's just, it's been fantastic.
So if someone wanted to come and be in the gallery now, do you have any open space, or you guys full?
Every 3 months, I give an opportunity for the artists that are there to leave. I say, who wants to stay, who wants to leave, every 3 months. And, after a discussion like that, I normally don't have a lot of turnover. I have maybe 2, maybe 3 artists leave. And so I'll typically have 2 or 3 spots available. I do have 1 spot available right now because I opened up a little extra space. And I am talking to a couple artists about it, so it might be taken next month. But typically I'm full until every 3 months. I meet and greet with artists.
Well, that's great to know. So some of our listeners are artists and they're thinking, maybe I want to have my artwork hung in there.
Please.
Then they need to reach out. And do you take a waiting list, or they just call back every 3 months?
On the website, I've got a form, as does everybody now. And I read through the form and I see if I think it's something that might be a good fit. And I usually try to reach out within the month to let them know you might be a good fit, or I don't know if you're a good fit, but here's maybe some ideas for you. I love to give artists ideas about where they can sell their art, even if it's not a good fit for my gallery. Because if it's not a good fit, that doesn't mean it's not sellable. It just means it might be sellable in another space.
Not for yours. What would you say? Who would you say is your youngest artist that you have? Do you have anyone that's like a really young entrepreneur artist that you have hanging in the gallery?
I do. I've got one now, and I've had two or three previously that have moved on
Oh.
and done great things with their art. Um, I'd have to say, ooh, I'm trying to make sure I'm saying the right people. MJ, MJ King, she is recently married and she's working to get out of the food industry into full-time art. So
Oh.
she's really trying to do full-time art and striving towards it. She's doing a great job doing it. So she's dipping her toes into all the things.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have someone who has been in it for 60 years? You know, they've been doing it forever and they're hanging in your art gallery.
Yes, I have a lot of seasoned art. We call them seasoned artists.
Seasoned. Oh,
um, I have to say Ed. I always refer to Ed Cascone. He's classically trained from New York. He used to draw, I think I'm saying this right, for, I don't know, it was a comic strip or for some kind of
wow.
magazine in New York. And he and his wife, they were one of my first artists that had been in the gallery for a while.
Wow.
And he's definitely seasoned. He's he instructs figure drawing sometimes. He's a very versatile in what he does. He loves acrylic though because he just gets the most out of it. But he's seasoned. Also, Gail Miller, she is seasoned as well. She comes to us from Beaufort, moved here a few years back, and since my gallery's open, she's opened her own gallery down the road.
Wow.
And it's called Gallery One. She and another artist that were in my gallery opened their own spot down the road. So we look at, we have the mentality that more art on Main Street's a good thing, not a competitive thing. It's like an artist doesn't need or want to be in one spot.
Right.
They need to have their art out everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, so it's been really good relationships with Gail and Nancy and Ed and the seasoned artists that show me a thing or two when they walk in the door too.
I think if you ever get to a place where you think you know everything, you're in trouble anyway, regardless of what field you're in, right? We can all learn something new every day from someone more seasoned or sometimes even with someone very young. They come in with a new creative idea.
Yes, I recently have been surprised by that too.
So what would you say, what artist has the most unique art in your studio?
Gosh, I guess that would have to be Mr. 8.
Tell me about his unique art.
His name is Albert, but he goes by Mr. 8.
Okay.
And he is a veteran that lives in Anderson, and there is a couple that has taken him under their wing, and they supply his supplies for him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They help get him into galleries like mine, and it is it's kind of kitschy. He does lots of household items, and like A1 sauce bottles, Duke mayonnaise bottles.
Oh my goodness.
He just did a Rick and Morty pair, which is a cartoon that's real popular right now
Yes,
with adults.
very much.
And they sold on Monday, those paintings, and they only got in the gallery July 1st.
Wow.
So he tries to keep it really youthful, and he's very quirky. So he has a whole wall. If you walk in, you can't miss it. It's it's very noticeable, very colorful, very like you can tell his brain's going like a mile a minute with his strokes and everything. And he uses whatever he has available. So if he has canvas, he uses it. But if he doesn't, he might take a piece of cement that he found on the street and turn that into a wall piece. I just hung one of those in the gallery.
That is so funny. I had someone tell me that the other day. They said, it's kind of like painting furniture. When I saw someone paint furniture for the first time, I was like appalled. I was like, who paints furniture? You keep it stained. Furniture is stained,
Yes.
But then when I started seeing all this eclectic furniture because it had been painted and it just gave it new life to it, it was just wonderful. But someone mentioned to me the other day the same thing about art. They said you don't need to just paint on canvas. You can paint on anything.
You sure can.
And I thought that was amazing. And so when you said that, it's kind of like a confirmation, right?
You sure can.
You can paint on anything.
It's how you present it. So along the way, the road we've traveled with him, Mr. 8, is, let's get this just a little, the edges cleaned up just a little bit so we can hang it on a wall.
So do you have artwork in the middle of the floor? Is it kind of like when you go into a museum, you've got some statues or you've got some,
It's pretty, it's a wide open space on purpose.
Okay.
It's such a beautiful space. I didn't want to take away from whole of the space itself.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I feel like people, when they walk in and look around, I want them to be able to see most everything in one glance.
Mm-hmm.
There's hidden stuff, but it's most of it. I want the wow factor.
Mm.
And that open, beautiful old building with the hardwood floors and the tin ceilings and all. I think it's impressive all by itself.
That's
People
great.
want to walk around it, so the art can be around it.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you require your artists that, because there are a lot of galleries and a lot of places to hang art, like you
Yes.
said earlier here in
Yes.
Greenville.
Mhm.
So are your artists required to keep their artwork in your store only, or can they go to any and place it in every art gallery here if they wanted to?
I am a huge fan of telling artists, you go wherever you need to go.
Mm.
Spread it out here, there, everywhere. Put it in bathrooms, put it in, but on buses, put it wherever you want to put it. Don't limit yourself to me. I'm just one available resource. That's it.
Mhm. One of many.
One
Because
of
there
many.
are, one of the things I did was some research on Greenville the other day, because I was giving some statistics to someone who was looking to move in this area. And it was such a highlighted statement about that Greenville is an artist area.
Yeah.
I mean, would you agree with that?
I do, and I think it's neat they've stated that
Mhm.
on paper.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it was like on the Visitors Bureau. They were saying, when they was describing Greenville, they were saying it was a place where artists can call home.
It is, and I'd like to think I'm a contributor to that with my gallery. I think a lot of the artists that have been there for so long
Mhm.
do consider it home, and I want them to.
I think that's great.
Want them to.
Have you had anyone in the gallery who's just gone on to be really famous? Now they're a big time artist, but they kind of started with you.
Ah, famous. I don't know. That's all in the perspective of the beholder, right?
That's true.
But I feel like the ones that have left that were the young ones that I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
they have gone off to be really spread their wings in the art world. Orlando Corona, he came in when he was about 17, and he was just hungry to learn,
Mm.
hungry to learn, and wanted to try all the things. But he was really working on printmaking at the time, so I had printmaking hung up. So he was the first youngest artist I had. And then Jessica Tursky came in, and her mother really helped her be in the gallery, helped us staff the gallery and everything. And she has gone on to do tons of festivals. You can find her at lots of festivals now. But she's a really brilliant watercolor artist.
Hmm. Now, when we come to your studio, are we going to need to wear, a gown and, get all dressed up to come, or can you just come casual and go through this?
You will outshine me every time if you wear a gown. You'll usually find me in something that I can sweat in because I'm always running around doing stuff. So no, please come in as you are.
Just come casual.
As you are. Come on in. And if you're hungry or thirsty for a coffee, then we've got you covered on that end too. And you can walk around with your drink.
Now, every 3 months you're changing artists, but how often would you say your artwork is changing? So an artist may say, well, that piece hasn't sold. I've had it in there for a while. I'm going to move it and take it somewhere else and bring it in. So how often are you seeing the artwork change?
It's a great question. If I tell artists, I say, please pay attention. Pay attention when you're there staffing, because I do have a staffing requirement. It's very minimal, a few hours a month. So when you're down there, it's intentional that I want you down there to see who's coming in, see what people are talking about. If people are really drawn to this one painting, take note, maybe you have something similar. So if artists really listen and use my gallery as that resource that I want them to use it for, they'll bring in a piece and replace something that has been sitting there for 3 months.
Right.
But I don't make them.
Yeah.
I don't require it. It takes a big effort to continue to replace art. But I definitely encourage it, 100%.
Yeah. I think so. Our listeners need to know they need to come every week because they could literally
Yes.
find something different
It will,
in the
and it's
gallery
so
every
much
week.
art. You can't see it in one stop.
So tell us a little bit about how they can find you, exactly where you're located,
Okay.
and where they can go to follow you and find out
Okay.
what's happening.
We're on the main drag in Main Street, downtown Greenville, 14 South Main. It is right where that middle trolley stop is between Washington and McBee. Some landmarks that I normally say is we're near Taco Sushi, same block, few doors down. Another landmark is Savannah Sweets. They're next to us on the other side. So those are some couple good landmarks. And we are open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily now.
Wow.
Which is a huge change from before. We were only open on the weekend, Thursday through Sunday. But thanks to the coffee shop, we're able to open longer. We've got more people in the gallery. So, and we are, we do a party every first Friday, which I got to tell you about that.
Okay.
Every first Friday, this is part of the perk of being an artist in my gallery. I throw you a party every first Friday. I make it a big deal. We have live music. Shout out to Sweet and Low, Ed Cascone, who I mentioned earlier. He and his wife Charlene, they perform.
Oh.
He plays sax, she sings. They're lounge singers, and they are for hire. They're fantastic. They're our house band. That's what I call them. But when they're out of town, I'll bring in some different variety. But they perform pretty much every time. And it's fun, danceable, singable, live music. And we've got most of the artists in the gallery. I invite all the artists to make an appearance. And I've got some food and some free pours of wine for those who want to partake. And the coffee shop is open for business. They stay late for us.
So the party's open to the public as well.
It's open to the public 100%.
So what time is the party?
6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, everybody's going to be partying until 9 p.m.
That's right.
And then if they drink enough wine, they'll not buy all of the artwork on the wall.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We encourage it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Encourage the purchasing.
The purchasing. So you're open on Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
I heard you say through it. So you open both. And what's your hours on the weekends?
7 to 6.
Oh, so
every
now
day.
you're 7 to 6 every day.
We have some fantastic hours. Like before, people said, I can never get by. Well, now you can. You can get by because we're open.
So the great thing too is if you're supporting local, buying local, and shopping local, they could literally come there and buy their Christmas presents, anniversary presents in the shop.
We have lots of people that do that, and we thank them so much for thinking of us to do that. We do. We have some great gift ideas, and it's not high-end, fancy schmancy, expensive stuff. It varies. I say we're a $500 to $500 gallery. We do have items that are more, but they're to show you that the artists can do more. The artists we have aren't limited to the smaller items, but the smaller items are in the gallery simply because of our space and to make it affordable for people to walk in. A lot of visitors from out of town want to throw it in their suitcase, and they got to be able to do that and fit it in their suitcase.
Well,
too,
I love that thought, and I'm glad you said the price because most people immediately think, oh, if I'm going to go to an art gallery, everything's going to start at like $10,000 and run up to $100,000. It's all it's unaffordable for me. So at least with $500 to $500 on an average, anybody can go in and use those items.
That's kind of my sales pitch, the way I say it. But yeah, definitely, I've got artists that have $1,100 oil paintings in there that you've got to see in person. They're just stunning. But so we have the artists that are capable and have the ability to do those and do commissions for you as well. Like if you have something you want done, you can get them to do it.
Now, for our listeners, I know a lot of times we're very critical for ourselves.
Yes.
So if someone is listening at home and they're doing this artwork, maybe they thought it was just doodling for them, but people are starting to say, I want to buy that. Let me pay you for that. Should they call you? Should they come in and let you take a look at some of their work? Would you advise them and say, as you said earlier, this would be great. Do a little work here. Come back and see me in 6 months.
I love advising new artists, artists that are just getting off the ground. And I'll be honest with them. So, the thing is that there's artists that want to sell and artists that don't want to sell. The artists that don't want to sell will price their artwork sometimes at $10,000 because they don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. If you want to wait for that person to buy that piece of art for years and years, and you will only be satisfied with giving away that painting at that price point, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm in the business in the mindset of you got to sell it to make more.
That's right.
If you want to make more to have and not pile up in your garage, you got to sell it. And what good is it doing in your garage?
Who's looking at it?
Who's looking at it?
Yeah.
People want to see it. I want people to see it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of mentor artists to help them with their mindset a lot of times, because there are artists that don't want to get rid of their art. They say, would somebody buy this? And if I say yes, they might have a totally different price point in their brain. Oh, they'll buy it for what, $20,000? Well, I don't know about $20,000, but we can talk about more and see in comparison to what is selling, what yours might sell for. So absolutely, I'd love to meet new artists.
So if you're home and you are an artist, give Ashley a call and stop by, bring your artwork, and see if it needs to be in the gallery.
Yep. Email me and I'll let you know if I'll be there, because I'm not always there. We've got in and out hours, but please come by the gallery. Please.
The last question I have for your shop is, do you guys have anything on a website? Do you have artwork on the website? So if someone can't stop by, maybe if they're out of town and they want to look and buy a piece, is that something that's available?
So Bethany Williams is one of our longest term artists there as well. And she, thank God for Bethany, posts on Facebook daily a different piece of art and explains it in depth and all the process and the mentality behind it. She is the one that handles the posting of the variety of art. Our website has all the artists with their links to it, but the art changes so much that I needed a Bethany in my life to help me with this.
So social media, what platforms are you on?
Facebook is a huge one for us. We've got about 3,000 people on Facebook. It's been a great resource for us. We used to be called Open Art Studios, so we haven't changed over the I don't know, the link.
Yeah.
It's still OAS GVL.
Okay.
I can't figure out how to change it. I might need some help with it, but working on it. And then Instagram, we're on Instagram.
Okay.
We are GVL-art.
Okay.
Just like our website is GVL-art.com.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yes.
And how can they reach out to you if someone wants to email you to see if you're available so they can bring their artwork by?
GVL-art.com has my contact information, and you can and go to the website. You can see all the artists. Contact me. If you want to apply to be an artist, there's the form there. So that's the best way.
And if someone, because you occasionally you have an opening for someone to perform on your party night, if someone's interested, they could go to the website and apply there as well.
I would love that. Yes. I don't know that I've gotten many applications for that reason, but absolutely. I would love to hear from some musicians.
All right. Well, is there anything that we haven't covered today that you want to make sure our listeners hear?
Oh, gosh, we covered a lot.
We did.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, I always ask one funny question at the end that doesn't have anything to do with your business. It's just for fun. So my question to you is, if you could choose any superpower in the world that is out there, what would you choose and why?
I think, what is it when you can like travel without traveling? Like you kind of just morph into where time travel.
Time travel.
You time travel. Like just I'm there.
Why would you choose time travel?
I'm a nervous traveler and I want to go to like a bunch of different places. So, and I don't know, I feel like that I get held back by not wanting to fly a lot.
Oh my gosh.
So
you're afraid of the airway.
Take me to Italy and just like snap my fingers and I'll be there.
That sounds like fantastic.
I'll go for eventually, but yeah, that would be my superpower. And I feel like I could, and I'm a go kind of person. So I feel like I wouldn't have to spend time traveling.
Yeah, you could go to all of these places and see the world.
That's right.
Quickly.
That's right.
in a couple of days.
Yes.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
and
you,
joining us in
Joanne.
the studio. I think I've learned a lot of information about galleries in general. And I did not even know about you until you called me yesterday and we got you on and we talked about you coming on the show. So I'm definitely going to come visit, bring some friends,
great.
and maybe buy some presents while I'm there. for someone else or something to hang on my wall. So
Yes.
I really appreciate you coming in. For our listeners, I hope you guys will go by and visit Ashley. Check out all of the wonderful artists that are there. Get Local loves to promote local businesses, but we also love to promote the local artists as well. And so it sounds like this is an amazing place where you can go and do just that. So stop by GVL Art Gallery and shop. Look for Ashley while you're there. She may or may not be in the studio, but they will be open with lots of staff, and make sure that you support them. I also want to give a shout out to 864 Sound, which is where all of our podcasts are recorded. Brandon Higginbotham is also the owner, and he, like myself, has a huge passion for local businesses. But I want you guys to support Brandon. He is our audio engineer, and he does anything from podcast to recording books to music, videos. Brandon does just everything. You guys need to come check him out. He is an amazing sound engineer and a perfectionist, and he's been doing this for a long time. So he's located over in Greenville, off Sweetbriar Road, and you can find him on all the social media platforms and his website as well. So Ashley, again, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
You guys go shop with Ashley, and shop local, support local, buy local, and check out Get Local at getlocalsc.com, and you can follow us on all the social media as well. Thank you guys for coming. We love you, our listeners, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.